Alright dudes, it's me Zach. So I've had a bit of a block lately. Been kind of stuck in this mindset that everything I create has to have a purpose. In my mind, I've been thinking if I'm going to draw something, then it has to mean something, or it has to stir the soul, It has to be some highbrow gallery piece that makes people stand around going, yes, very postmodern. Or stroking their chin like they actually know what postmodern means. Or it has to be useful to someone, so maybe it's client work, illustration, or decorating a chart or a calendar. Or it has to be a tutorial, it has to be teaching someone something, or at least giving them some value. And because I've been thinking that, I've been overthinking everything I go to create. Before I even start drawing, I've thought of a reason why I shouldn't draw it, or why it's just not good enough. I think it's because I've been reading this book. It's called The Imagination Muscle, and it's all about where good ideas come from and how to train yourself to have more good ideas. And I'm not knocking the book. It's actually a really inspiring book. I learned a lot from it. But it kind of put this thought into my mind that to draw something that doesn't have a purpose, then it's not a good idea. I think it was just in the back of my mind because I've never really thought that before. I've always just drawn for fun and not really cared what the outcome was, except for when it's for work, obviously. But just having it there in the back of my mind kind of paralyzed me from experimenting and just drawing for the sake of drawing. Just sitting down and drawing, especially drawing a mandala. Like for me, that's extremely therapeutic or cathartic. It's the act of drawing nothing in particular. The way you don't have to think about what it is you're drawing or if it looks right or wrong. And by doing that, you enter this flow state and things start to become clearer. Like, I've meditated regularly for going on 20 years, and I actually find drawing mandalas an even better form of meditation because there's two things that can happen when drawing a mandala. The first is I become so involved in the act of drawing that everything else goes quiet. You know how in Zen Buddhism they say that it's okay to let your thoughts come and go, just don't serve them tea. I feel like when I'm meditating that's much harder to do than when I'm drawing a mandala. It's probably because there's nothing else to do when you're just sitting there with your eyes half closed. There's nothing to focus your attention on. So with me, my thoughts end up just coming in, putting their feet up and demanding biscuits. But with the mandala, the thought comes just the same, but then I'm too focused on drawing a line that I don't have any time to serve the thought. So it just naturally floats away. Or the other thing that can happen is I'll have a thought pop up in my head that is a problem that needs to be solved. And when that happens, the problem lingers in my mind, just floats around in there. And I don't think I'm even aware that it's even happening, but my brain starts solving the problem by itself. I just stay focused on drawing the mandala. And then as time passes, I suddenly realize, now I have a solution to what was once a problem. And it hasn't stressed me out at all because I didn't even have to think about it. And that reminds me of another famous quote. It is solved by walking. Can't remember who said that, but I'm sure it was one of those ancient Greek blokes who spend their days thinking deep thoughts, probably while wearing a bedsheet. The kind of guy who'd stare at a tree for 6 hours and then declare, yes, life is but a shadow. It's basically just a profound way of saying that a problem can be solved through action instead of contemplation. It's like nature is a great healer, and just going for a walk really brings clarity. For me especially, the more time I spend in nature, the more grounded I feel. And I really think that, it's been raining a lot here lately. It's the wet season. So it's raining all day, every day. So I haven't been able to get out as much as I would like. And when drawing a mandala kind of replaces that, you're going for a walk along the paper and along your own mind. It's like when you go out for a hike, you're not really achieving anything, You don't have anything to show for it. So on surface level, it kind of seems pointless. There's no purpose in going for a hike. But the act of hiking is the reward. And so it's exactly the same when drawing a mandala. It's the act of drawing that's the same as walking. That's what Aboriginal paintings represent too. Like, they're often mandalas made up of lots of dots, and the dots represent the footsteps taken in life, both physically and spiritually. Sometimes they're literally a map, and they're the footsteps that you would have to take to reach a sacred site or a hunting ground or something. So I'm not sure what I'll end up doing with this mandala, or if I'll even do anything with it, but that's totally fine, because I'm just glad that I sat down and started drawing with no goal, no intention, and no guilt, I guess. Just drawing the first thing that came to mind without it having to be for something or someone. And this piece actually has a small stellated dodecahedron in the middle, which is something that I drew recently for a reason. It actually had a purpose. Someone in the Geometers Circle didn't know how to go about drawing it, so I made a tutorial for them, and you can find that in the link below if you want to check it out. But yeah, I don't know if anyone out there can relate to that, but I think it makes a lot of sense for everything in life. Like, everything you do doesn't have to have a purpose. I think that so many people are caught up in the productivity mindset. Everything has to be productive, everything has to be serving someone or something, and it just doesn't. Like, you can just be alive